say this will work. This is gonna have to be it for a second. So we can actually get there. Okay. Nope. Okay. So, welcome back. How you doing?
Yay.
How's it going?
Excellent.
Fantastic.
Got,
Everyone.
got done with birthday presents, cake for days.
I'm exhausted.
Cake for days. That means cake for breakfast. Cake for breakfast is...
My wife made a cake so tall that it has decided to start leaning over.
What?
Sounds amazing.
I did not know that was an option.
Well, apparently cake stabilizers are a thing, which we found out after the fact.
Okay. I can hardly blame you. I don't think I would have found out at any point.
Dude, cake architecture is like a thing.
Cake-a-texture.
Cake texture. That's awesome.
Cake shirt? No, I like the first one better. Forget I said the second one.
All right. So
I don't know, I just feel like I'd have a hard time eating something that beautiful.
I mean, probably. Okay, so here's my question. Where did we leave off last week?
At the end, after
We were at the end.
Licking our
Sorry.
wounds.
So,
the altercation.
yeah, licking your wounds. That's a good way of putting it. Last week.
Yeah,
what
she's
happened?
a druid. She might actually have been licking her
It's
wounds.
very possible. All right, last
I
week
was hurt in that section.
after having arrived in the city of Plona, a coastal city that is positioned within this cove or bay area of the coastal region of Zebros.
Question.
Yes,
Is that on the map anywhere? Can we see that?
Yeah.
on the actual map,
Yeah.
the cove.
I just kind of want to get a...
Yes, I will give you a. I will chuck you over to the map of Terrast.
on your Twitch. I'll pop over.
No, it's going up. It's on roll 20.
Oh, I should probably log into that.
Yeah. Yep.
Alright.
So, and I'll pull it up on my Twitch stream as well. So if you guys just.
It's also marked on the map of Zebros on our group links.
That too. Anyways, where was we at? So, having arrived to this coastal bay city of Plona, very Venetian in style, on a mission to find an informant for secret keeper. I can talk. Secret keeper Felix, a werecat who is basically the master of spot, or the master of secrets, and master of secrets of the city of Eros, and ultimately the whole country of Zebros as well. We're sent on the intrepid group of adventurers named Ordos Custoles. I believe I got that right. Hoping so. I'm going to continue to hope I get that right until the day I die. The group went to the city of Plona in search of this informant named Salgent. Having arrived in the city, they began asking around. They found and located the Celestial Citadel, a very beautiful church within the city itself, and began asking some questions, began poking about, trying to find where this individual was, ultimately finding through information through through the Thieves Guild, known as the Avista, that Salgent is located within the Nightstone Spire. I believe that's correct. I'd have to put my links to this prison that is out in the middle of the actual bay. On their way back, after trying to gain entrance through normal means, the group eventually, or was happened upon by a group of Lycan bounty hunters who seemed to be after the one and only Emural, our elven druid, who has been adventuring with our group for some time. The group fighting off a larger than normal werebeast, ultimately defeating him through many a fault of the DM, not actually reading his rules correctly. The group ultimately defeated him and his compatriots, 2 of which escaped and into the night. The group found a note on the leader saying that the bounty for Amiro has been raised to 1 million gold pieces from the country of Danforth itself, alive, if she is brought to them alive, 500,000 if brought dead. With stakes this high, who knows what could happen. However, after defeating them and after hearing the fast approaching footfalls of the city guard, the group Ordos Costales began continuing to make their way as quickly as they could back to the tavern, which they have come and known to call basically their base of operations at this point, the Brass Tiger. They all went to sleep. And managed to get a full night's worth of rest with Tyrion, with their elven paladin Tyrion watching guard. As he slept, he glanced out the window and saw a faint little golden light pass before the window very quickly, but just enough that his elven eye could catch it as it flew down the street. With that, sunshine arises. The group all comes to consciousness, some getting a fairly restful night of sleep, others not as much. But enough that they are able to retain and get all of their health, their spells, different things, getting a full night's rest. All of that back. They awake. They come downstairs. They come downstairs. Order breakfast. Get a full belly of warm food. Hopefully some coffee or maybe something a little stronger if some of them might need it. And with that dawns day 2 within the city of Plona.
Okay, just quick. So, continue.
As you come down, you do notice that it is another fairly dreary day outside. Glancing out the window, still overcast. The rain, there appears to be a slight drizzle coming down onto the streets, but nevertheless, you still see individuals still roaming about. The streets seem to be filled with fog at this point. So
still a rainy day, still overcast.
Kind of a rainy day, overcast. It seems like there's like a nice fog on the ground. Seems kind of like everything just kind of seems wet outside from what you can see. Luckily, you're inside. There's a nice fire roaring in the hearth and in the fireplace. What would you like to do?
Before we figure that out, could I roll like because we ended as soon as I saw that light. Can I just roll like a retroactive history check to see if I've recognized what that might have come from?
Yeah, go ahead and roll a history check.
All right. That's not brilliant. We're going to go with a 7. Good way to start the night.
It looks familiar. You're having trouble placing exactly where you've seen it before. But it is something that looks familiar. You just can't quite place where it is. Your brain's wandering, still trying to come to grips with all the different events and all the different things that happened.
Clarissa was a sheep.
Clarissa being a sheep. But your brain just can't quite figure out exactly where or what it is. So.
Gotcha.
So that is what you. It's kind of what you gain from all that.
I haven't left my room, by the way, Shadow.
Okay. So most of the group comes downstairs, and Muriel's still up in her room, though.
Now, friends, before we do anything, I have a very important thing to ask and show you. Are you ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
So Clarissa reaches under her dress in what looks to be a very awkward next couple of seconds,
Knew it.
and and pulls out
Rip.
the mechanical reconstruction of the flump she was working on the night before.
Roll a Tinker's check real quick.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Roll a d20. Add your roll a d20. Add your dexterity modifier on top of that, and plus
Okay,
your proficiency modifier as well.
Yeah, so for me, let's see, dexterity, okay, so that would be a 14. Or, sorry, 15.
It looks pretty much like what you saw, just a mechanical version of it. It's got little tentacles that are coming out of the bottom. She places it on the table, and instead of floating there, it kind of just drops down very top heavy. The tentacles kind of go just all out to the side. It looks like a kind of flattened octopus at this point, but it's laying on the table. Looks like something Clarissa would construct.
How close of a reconstruction is this to those things that I somehow made the other day?
Looks pretty close. Oh, you're not asking me. You're asking
No,
them.
I'm asking the group.
What in Helm's name is that?
It's clearly a thing. Yeah, you weren't there, you wouldn't know. And she looks out.
Was that
She looks
one
at-
of those things you were chasing around mid-fight?
Yes, that is what I was going for.
That's, it's not bad. Kind of weird, not bad.
I'll take it. She takes it and shoves it back under her dress somewhere. Probably
What's
best
it?
not to ask questions.
Fair enough.
That was all. I didn't have anything else useful.
You said it was really important.
It was.
Well, in all fairness,
And
to
we've
Clarissa,
completed it.
it probably was.
This is a matter of study.
Yes,
I might
well,
need to do research on these creature things.
as fair as that is, we have two fairly pressing issues that we need to at least discuss.
The
What
fact
are
that
we about mercenaries trying to kill one of our friends.
Well, not just one of our friends. I have a feeling that at this point we're not exactly too high on their list either. So it's all of us, and also our mission from Felix, which definitely time is a factor on both of these.
Well, I'd say we start with what's attainable and try and hunt down our lead with Skittles. Try and find him.
what if Clarissa gets a somewhat mischievous look in her eye. What if we somehow have Emerald hand herself in to gain access to the prison and then fake Emerald's death by exploding the prison while getting both her and our target out? She kind of just like thinks for a minute.
That's inspired, but
I really just wanted to blow up the prison.
Well,
And you remember
it
the prison.
is very
you
early
remember
in the day, Clarissa.
You remember seeing the prison. This was a large, very large, black, just like pretty much just huge rock spire that was just jutting out at least a good couple 100 feet out of the ocean. Waves crashing all around it. Single rope bridge going from the main portion of islands to that to the spire itself.
They're not
seem
fucking
bigger.
around. Okay.
No, it's not Alcatraz. Think like giant, think like giant, just hard rock spire, like just goes straight shooting out
I
of the
was
middle.
thinking
of the thing.
like sheriff jail cell. Damn.
No, this
we
is
were
like,
we were in real capital city jail, dude.
Yeah, you're thinking like this is like a giant, like a giant Think like the Erie. Think about like how like tall of a mountain that thing, like how cylindrical that thing of a mountain was on. Shrink that, make that like just slightly smaller, and that's kind of what you're looking at. Like,
Not impressed. I could blow it up.
I mean, I would have to side with Clarissa on this. I feel like there isn't anything she couldn't blow up if she set her mind to it.
In all seriousness, though, I have a feeling we're going to be dealing with bands of mercenaries like that continuously until we find some way to get this bounty off of Emerald and therefore our heads.
I agree. Though this was a fairly brazen and direct attack, we have not. This is not something we've encountered before.
Another opportunity for us to at least see Skittles isn't he going to be brought in front of a panel or a council or a jury in a few days? That's what the guard said at the guard shack.
Yeah, but you also remember that you have a note from Felix as well that says that Salgent's fate would be decided within, I think, 2 days.
There we go.
Yes.
By the Masked Lords.
Yeah, but see, that's the problem, is that, Salix, that board was the Masked Lords. We don't know who they are. We don't know where they meet. We don't know a lot about them. I think we need to do a little bit more research first.
That guy from the Avesta was definitely a Masked Lord. I'm just saying.
Has
Did you
anybody
ask
seen
him
Emerald?
repeatedly if he was a Masked Lord?
The more they deny it, the more it must be true.
Are you a Masked Lord?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Well then it seems like you could solve this problem for us pretty
Yeah,
quickly
but-
and efficiently. So
Yeah, but I lost my mask somewhere. Party, handsome gnome, long story. Don't want to talk about it.
Can we make you another mask?
we can make you another mask.
I could probably do that. So has anybody seen Emerald? Or we just,
Well, did she stay in her room alone last night?
to my knowledge.
I thought someone was staying with her last night. Okay, no, I have not. Well, I have not seen Mural. I stood
Oh,
guard
yeah, we
after I rested.
outside of character, we are sharing rooms. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought,
Who was sharing a room with her?
I
Yeah.
wasn't.
I wasn't paying attention. I thought you and I were sharing rooms.
No, I had my own room.
No,
I
she
bought
took
my
her own room.
I thought. Okay. I guess-
Oh,
I
I
don't
think
know
I
who
was sharing rooms with Tyrion. Never
I
mind.
think that sounds about right.
So
Okay.
Well, so I haven't seen her. Maybe, do you think we should go check on her?
Well, perhaps I should go check on her in case she is in a state of undress. I am
Okay.
the only one equipped to handle that here.
Sure about that?
Indeed you are.
She just glares at Ryven.
Clarissa makes her way up the stairs, awkwardly, but makes her way up the stairs nonetheless. Find your way to Muriel's room. Knock on the door.
Hello, Emerald. Emerald.
I slowly proceed to the door with my dagger drawn because I'm just paranoid as all hell, not having a really good restful night. And I open the door and I kind of just peek a bit. And
The door opens a little bit. You see Muriel's eye and her body peek out, looks up and down the hall a little bit before coming to rest on you, Clarissa.
Ah, there you are. You look rather tense.
Yes.
How about
I'll be.
how about a magical massage? It works wonders
No.
on tension.
No.
Well,
Just get Karma up here in about 5 minutes. I need to get ready.
Karma. What do you need him
Yes.
for?
Just trust me. I need to speak with him.
speak. She makes air quotes. Got it. And then winks. And then turns around and waddles back downstairs giggling.
At this point, I don my armor.
Okay. You do as such. Clarissa eventually makes her way back down to the group.
Karma,
Yeah.
if Meryl wishes to speak, she makes a hole with one hand and inserts her index finger into it with the other. She wishes to speak with you in about, I don't know, 5 minutes. Speak.
I facepalm. Sure. Alright, guys, I'll be right back.
Although I suppose with the tail, she awkwardly tries to bend her pinky from her right hand around to the other side of her left hand.
As I'm walking past her, I slap her in the face with my tail.
Whoa. Now I don't know where that thing's been.
Karma eventually makes his way up to Amiral's room. The rest of you sitting awkwardly in the bar or in the tavern, listening to Clarissa begin to explain all form of things that ought not best be spoken of over breakfast.
Right.
Karma,
so
you make your way up to Amiral's room, knock on the door.
Karma,
it's Karma. Yep.
come in. It's unlocked.
Beep. Open the door. Walk in. Yeah. What's up?
Since yesterday, I got something to ask of you.
Okay, shoot.
Well, I seen how you're able to make a disguise.
Yeah. Want me to make
Is
one
there
for
any-
you?
If it's possible.
I could see what I can do. Probably dye your hair.
It's pretty dark.
Yeah, we can. I'll see what I can do.
And
So I pull out my disguise kit. Try and dye her hair black.
it's already black.
It's already
Dark.
black.
Black. Right. So maybe.
And it's basically below the chin, too.
All right. So I guess I'll make it shorter if I can. I'll also try and make it lighter. Maybe bleach it.
That is
if I
my
have
dinner.
Materials.
Okay.
Maybe add on some, I don't know, some makeup and weird, I don't know. Just make her look different with my disguise kit.
Go ahead and roll. Roll a d20, add your proficiency modifier. And your general intelligence modifier as well.
General intelligence. Okay. Seven.
Total?
Yeah, I rolled a 4 and I get +3.
God. Okay.
Can it be deception? Because
No. Because this is you physically trying to mess with her. Okay. It takes about within the span of about an hour. He has you sit down. He takes his dagger and begins messing with your hair in ways that you. It's a good thing that you don't have a mirror in front of you. Otherwise, you'd probably be screaming bloody murder. You see him take out some form of putty from the disguiser's kit, mold it, compare it to the color of your skin, shake his head about 4 times, takes some what looks like paint or dye or something and adds it to the putty, messes it around a little bit, compares it again. His eyes narrow a bit. He does it. He shapes it a little bit and just says, "Hold still," and sticks it right onto your nose. It feels odd, squishy, and very odd, and just weird, and not the most comfortable thing in the world. He molds it a little bit, tilts his head, tweaks it to the left just ever so slightly. Then you see him take out a bunch of makeup, take a brush and just start brushing this very thick makeup all over your face. You end up coughing a little bit. After about an hour of this torture, for lack of a better term, he finally shows you a mirror. Your hair, while not like super short or super long, definitely going to probably need a professional to fix it. Make it look a little nicer. Honestly looks like you've probably been on the road a lot longer than you should have. Looks like you went through like the thickest of bramble and you just came out on the wrong end of it. Your nose is longer and tweaked one way. To Karma's credit, it does actually match the color of your skin, but it's kind of rough looking. Apart from that, there's like some mascara and like some other makeup that kind of like it is trying to give your angled features even more of an angled look. It's not good. It looks like a 12-year-old kind of just went ham with the parents' makeup kit and just tried to make someone look pretty.
Okay.
What do you think?
He stands there anticipating.
I don't say a word. I shake my head.
Now, I know this may not be my best work, but I gave it my all.
Well, with a cloak, it'd be pretty hard to see my features anyways like that. So, it should work for now. I'll just have to touch up a little bit of the makeup, but it should be fine. And I kind of like dabbed a little bit of the mascara that's kind of off the side of the face
Right.
that he kind of like lined off by accident. I should be able to fix this a bit.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good.
And then I'll proceed down.
All right, you all head down. You see, all the rest of you see Emerald come down. Her hair looks like just horribly askew. You'd all kind of have to roll. I need you all to roll a intelligence check. Actually, this will be more wisdom. This will be wisdom. Everyone roll a wisdom check.
Oh, I'm good at those. Okay, good.
Really? Because how wise were you when you charged that army?
Of small children.
How'd that work out for you?
Well, I lived. We're good.
Barely.
Alrighty. 3 and 16.
All right. All of you maintain composure. You manage not to go super laughing hardcore or anything. You all manage to maintain your composure as Emiro comes down and you all stare at her.
I go purposely behind Carissa and I pinch her ear, just from what I probably gander she probably was saying about me.
Ow! What's that for?
For you probably saying what I thought you were probably going to say when you came down here.
I didn't
Prob-
realize you knew shapeshift troll, because that's kind of what you look like right now.
9 hells, what happened up there?
Let's just say disguise kit.
Well, it's an effective disguise. You don't really look like yourself.
That's the point.
Well done.
All right. So,
Well, impressive disguise or not, we may want to consider the wisdom of her traveling with us.
Well, I mean, we are kind of forgetting the obvious.
What's the alternative?
I don't think anybody would recognize her as like a tabby cat.
That is an excellent point.
How long can you hold those type of shapes?
3 hours, upwards of 6, but that limits my forms for later, if I ever need it.
Hopefully we don't need that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think this is a more pressing concern.
Well, depends on what type of animal you want me to be, because it can either be really comfortable or really, really bad for me.
Anything that's gonna blend in.
Blend in.
Definitely
Your
sheep.
shape-shifting is not gonna help if it draws more attention to you.
Or, I mean, you could always, like, shapeshift into a rat and sit in somebody's backpack the entire day.
Oh, what the fuck?
Oh, Tyrion.
Yeah, but at one point after a certain time, I'm gonna have to take a break in order to be able to do this progressively.
Well, we
You
can
can
cross that bridge when we come to it. Certainly better than leaving you alone here.
Yeah, for all we know, they know we're staying here. They being the Shadow Council.
Well, it
group
is
of people
likely.
trying to murder us.
I certainly saw some activity on the streets last night. So, like
Oh,
a
the-
weird,
right.
glowing fairy light type thing go past the window. I don't know how else to describe it.
It wasn't me.
I figured since nothing caught on fire.
Is there like a loo downstairs, like in the main tavern?
Yeah, you're able to find a bathroom. No problem.
Okay. I was to say, I'll be right
It's
back.
more of a washroom. It's more of a washroom than an actual bathroom, but you're able to find a washroom.
I'm gonna go in there, transform into a cat, walk
Okay.
back out to the group.
And walks into the washroom. Walks a mural, and whoosh, out walks a cat with very black hair, and very very green eyes. Walks over to Tyrion, jumps up in Tyrion's lap.
Well, that will probably work. Question is, what are we going to do with this day?
I have another question. Isn't the cat holding the bag of holding?
Nope.
Oh,
Silly.
thank God. Okay, good. We're
So
good.
has it.
Fine.
So, what is the
It's
plan?
not like there's anything important in there.
All right. Well, what do you guys want to do? What are our plans for today?
Well, I expended all my brilliant ideas yesterday, so
Well, we still have
we still have
we still have the Black Spire. I think Clarissa, you said you wanted to go there.
Nightstone Spire.
Yeah.
No, Black Spire.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, if we can turn the mages there to our cause, we may have gained a good ally in the city. And I am great at making friends.
Just
Meryl, nod your head up and down if it sounds like a good idea to you.
I just put my paw on the table and just look at them.
That's a ringing endorsement. 10 out of 10. Would recommend.
Well, anybody else have any ideas?
Well, short of breaking into Nightstone Spire, I don't know how we're going to get get face to face with Salgent. That's who we really need to see. So,
You mean Skittles?
I like Black. Yes. Anybody? Anyone else? No. All right, let's go to Blackstone Spire.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
So,
On the way there, I want to be watching out for people following us, specifically any mercenary types. The guy, like the people we just fought.
okay, go ahead and make a perception check. And roll 20 just crashed. for
Natural
me,
20.
So, fucking hell yeah. So roll 20 just crashed for me.
Same.
FYI. Oh, mine's back up. Never mind. I lied. Okay. So, I'm just making sure that Ryven, you got what I sent to you.
Mine's coming back up right now too.
Okay. So Karma, as you're walking around, you keep an eye out behind you. You dart off occasionally. Will dart off into a corner. Wait for a minute or two, or dart off into an alleyway. Wait for a minute or two, and just see if anyone's following you. Doesn't appear to be anybody following you at this point as you continue farther deeper and deeper into the city. Seems like at least at this point. So, as you make your way through Plona, you quickly realize that you have no idea where this place is.
Well, we would ask,
You-
and we could ask guards or the local people.
You ask around. It takes about an hour and a half to reach it, and as you do, it's a very different style of building, and it's very easy to spot once you do kind of come into range of it. As while you're walking, the entire cityscape around it is like normal houses. Like there's wagons being pulled. Eventually, you come to this large circular area, like this large kind of like what seems to be a very specific like circle square type area around like where all the houses and all the buildings are just kind of like form this large square. And normally where in the center there would be a what would normally be a fountain is this large obsidian like this large very smooth obsidian spire that rises up out of the middle of this square. It's very smooth. As you look up, there is no there are no windows. There appear to be no doors or anything along the outside of it as it continues to go up, at least probably 4 or 5 stories at minimum. It eventually does peak off into a pointed roof up at the top. People are wandering around. Some given a wide berth, others not. The area of town you're in is a lot nicer than the other portions, or some of the other portions you've been walking through. But a very nice area of town. But as you can see, it just looks like a very smooth spire, maybe 40 to 50 feet across, from what you can tell.
Well, Clarissa,
Magnificent.
time to make friends.
Yes, make friends.
Your time to shine.
Yes, perhaps I should approach the entrance alone. I don't know how friendly they are to non-magical types.
Okay. So you walk up.
So yeah, what's the entryway look like?
There is none. There is no entryway. It's just a smooth spire. No doors, no windows, no nothing. From what you
Oh,
can
it's
tell.
like Orthanc.
Pretty much.
Oh, okay.
Why didn't you just say Orthanc?
As you look up to the top though, and you have to crane your neck way far back, you do see a single solitary window up at the top. Doesn't appear. It seems to be shut at the moment.
So it's exactly like Orthanc.
Exactly.
I love it.
All right. Well, let's.
How close are you at this point?
I don't know. Maybe 10 feet away. Slowly walking towards it.
Okay, so as you're walking towards it, before you get, as you progress, and as you get probably about 20 feet away, probably about 20 to 25 feet away, away from it, you continue walking, and all of a sudden you feel a hand on your shoulder, and as you turn around and look up, you see an individual wearing a gray cloak, that extends all the way down to the ground with its hood currently drawn. A chin is pretty much all you can see. Even looking up into it, looking up into its face, really, most of its face is shrouded in shadow. It looks down at you and says, "What is your business here, gnome?"
Well, you're a tall one. Hi. Oh,
He stays silent.
Business. Yeah. You see this? She points to her pin that she has attached to her dress, marking her as a member of Texria. Well, yeah, you see, I'm visiting the city, and I was told that this is the place where all the magical folks gather. And being a magical folk, I thought perhaps we could, I could learn from what you all have to offer, make some magical contacts in the city, network.
He gives you kind of a confused look. That is not this place that we have here.
Oh,
If you are
well,
looking to speak with the leader of our order, she is currently busy.
oh, busy. Then when will she not be busy?
As he's about to answer, his eyes kind of gloss over for a second before refocusing on you, and he says, "She will meet with you now. Tell your friends to come."
Oh,
And he
well,
releases you and begins to walk forward to the Black Spire itself.
all right. Well, Clarissa will use message to Tyrion to say, "Come over this way," and while frantically jumping up and down and excitedly like waving her arms, trying to signal the rest of the group.
Okay.
I just wave the rest of the group forward and start walking towards Clarissa.
Alright, you all make your way. Clarissa, as you are jumping up and down, you eventually turn around and you see... make a perception check.
A perception. Okay. Okay. And sorry, I don't have my die in front of me, so I have
That's
to
gonna be
figure
good.
this thing out. Okay. And then perception is wisdom, right?
Yep, 21.
So 14.
So, Clarissa, as you're waving the rest of your group over, you turn around once you are sure they've noticed you, and you realize that the individual wearing the gray cloak is nowhere to be seen.
Heh. She's just gonna walk up to the
You
tower.
hear a voice
and-
you hear a voice in your head that says, "Follow."
It's follow. Yeah, but where did you go?
Inside. This is your first test.
Righto. And she's just gonna walk directly into the tower.
Okay. Walk. Walk. You disappear right through the stone.
Heh, I knew it.
As you enter, Clarissa, you see that standing in this bottom kind of not really necessarily a hallway or anything, but like more kind of just this like very small room, is the individual wearing the gray cloak. As you turn around, you see a small archway that peers out into the square that you were just in. You see the rest of your friends standing there.
Clarissa, where'd you go? Clarissa?
Do I hear that?
You would hear that over. Are you messaging them or not?
Nope. I'm gonna assume that
I mean, you'll
cut
hear
it off.
you'll hear them shouting out, but that's about all you hear.
Clarissa!
She just sort of stands there for a second,
Okay.
and then winks at the man in the cloak, and then reaches out with message to Tyrion and says, "Just walk right through where I walked through. It's not that hard."
Okay.
Right, didn't I see... Didn't
You
we
would,
see
yeah,
her
you
do
would
this?
you would have seen Clarissa just go right on in.
Well, I follow.
Okay. As you go to follow Tyrion, whap! You just are stopped
Yeah, I had a
Directly
feeling
by-
that was going to happen, but...
directly by the wall.
How'd that feel?
I don't know, I attempt to recover gracefully.
You reel back. You kind of hold your nose. You bring your hand away. Nothing seems to be broken. No blood. It's just the only thing that's probably hurt is your pride at this point. But
No, I recovered gracefully.
okay.
My pride is fully intact.
So
Clarissa?
I just turn back around and say, it seems this wall is solid now. I tested it.
Well,
You-
she asked us to come with. I guess we'll just wait here. Hope she's okay.
And
Clarissa,
I'm
the
gonna
individual
reach
in
out
this-
through message and tell Clarissa that I just walked into a wall.
Of course, on the other side, you see Tyrion just walk into the wall. And it's the exact same spot that he was at, and he just, like, the exact same spot you walked in at, but he just can't come through for some reason.
Corsa is going to laugh a little bit,
Okay.
and then turn to the man in the gray cloak and say, well, that was amusing. Was that supposed to happen?
He just stands there, silently.
Are you going to tell me your name?
This is your first test.
Yeah. Well, all right then. Corsa is going to then just shove her hand out of the wall and say, let me try something. Somebody grab my hand.
Okay. You just see a hand magically just right out the wall.
Okay, can I hear her say? Whatever, I grab it.
You grab the hand. It feels solid enough.
And Corsa's going to then try to pull him in.
Tyrion just go right through the wall. Tyrion, you are now standing in this very well lit, very small room. Not very small, but small enough room. Kind of like an entry hall, basically, with no other visible doors and just a staircase leading up. This seems to be leading around the perimeter of the actual the tower itself. So, I'll say for the sake of remedy, Clarissa reaches her hand out enough times and pulls everyone in. Everyone gets pulled into this black stone spire, or gets pulled into the obsidian spire. You all see this gray cloaked individual standing in front of you. Shadows obscure most of his face at this point. He then just brings one hand up from amidst the folds of his cloak, and just motions for you to follow. He begins walking up the stairs that seem to go around pretty much the entire perimeter of this tower. Walls on both sides of you. As you as your group begins to ascend the spire, you notice that in little alcoves, like every so often, there's these little alcoves, like kind of like display case like alcove areas along the walls as you're walking up that seem to hold different items. You see a longsword that seems to be kind of just hanging, suspended in the middle of air, slowly rotating. A ruby placed at a very, very large ruby placed in the pommel of the hilt. Another one you see what looks like a skull, but the elongated that seems to be just placed in one of the alcoves. Its eyes. Bright, very clear diamonds. You see what appears to be maybe a slight, which seems to be a dagger, slowly kind of also rotating just in the middle of air, with a slight, what looks like almost like a kind of an entangled, like two different entangled ropes just kind of going down the blade, like etched into the blade itself. You see what appears to be a black horn, currently also just floating and spinning ever so slowly in midair. Different objects like that. You see there's also a full set of armor. That's what you see as you continue up this first portion. As you continue to curve around, there's a whole section that's just armor. Some is very black, other is like different, other is like red, green, gold. There is a very ornate looking robe, from what you can see, hand stitched, just kind of like something that someone would wear to bed, that appears to be just kind of slung on a mannequin floating in one of these alcoves.
As we walk by, I want to discuss with Tyrion the various features of the armor.
Okay.
That's a cool one.
Yeah, these are all really nice.
That's quite the collection they have here.
as you continue to walk up the stairs, eventually it leads the cloaked individual leads to a single door. Leads you to a single door at the top of the staircase. He stands there, and there's enough room for you. The staircase is wide enough that you're able to get past him, and he just extends a hand to the door and says, "The Black Staff awaits you."
The Black Staff? That sounds
Right.
ominous.
No, it sounds awesome.
If you say so.
Thank you, nameless friend. Can I know your name now, perhaps?
You stay silent.
I'm going to call you Greycloak, imaginatively.
No reaction.
Anyway. All right, well, I suppose we should go in and introduce ourselves to the Black Staff. I was told that the leader of this organization would see me, and us by extension.
Okay. You walk up to the door. You push it open. It opens. As you walk in, you notice that the entire room is pitch black. There is a single bead of light that is coming down from the ceiling. You can't tell how wide or how far across this room is. You can't tell how high the room is. It's just complete and utter darkness, apart from this one bead of light. And in the middle of this bead of light, there's a small lighted circle in the middle of the room. In the middle of that circle is a very tall, maybe about 5 to 6 foot tall staff that is just seems to have just been planted in the middle of this room. From what you can tell, and since most of you have dark vision, the staff is smooth, almost a very dark obsidian. Salix, you have more difficulty seeing this as being human, and whatnot.
Of course, is it okay if I cast a spell?
I would not advise that just yet.
It's hard to see.
Yeah. Don't worry. Nothing bad will definitely happen to you here. Hold on to Tyrion if you are worried.
You notice that the staff has, at the very top of it, a very ornate and beautiful, beautifully carved wolf head at the very top of it. And from what you can tell, the eyes are inlaid emeralds. From what you can tell, the mouth seems to be, with its jaw, the wolf's jaw seems slightly open, enough fangs and teeth bared. From what you can see, the door, as all of you enter at that point.
I'm gonna go on a hunch here, guys. So, if things seem quiet and crazy for a moment, don't worry about it. And then, without waiting for her response, she's gonna stare directly into the eyes of the wolf head on top of the staff and reach out to it using message and say, "Hail, magical staff."
Interesting. Okay. You reach out with message to the magical staff, and as you do, you hear what appears to be an agonizing scream echo throughout your ears, followed by silence. Followed then by a voice that seems to be speaking in a language that you don't recognize.
As soon as she makes out that it's a language she doesn't know, she's gonna sigh loudly and reach up and touch the gem on her diadem and pop a charge for comprehend languages.
As you're listening through message to this, you hear you hear the language say, you hear the voice basically in your head say, quiet, you fool. We don't want to make her mad. Keep this up and we will punish you again. You hear another sound. I told you to be quiet. That's all you hear.
Excuse me. She's gonna put a little force behind that.
Okay.
To the voice speaking in the language, and I don't know if this matters or if message really has language, but this will be in Gnomish.
Okay. No response from it. The light dims. You are put entirely into black and darkness. And then slowly, ever so slowly, magical torch sconces seem to light all around the room, or illuminating this very beautifully ordained and very beautiful what appears to be kind of an office space, almost. Very beautiful rugs all around. There appears to be books and books and books all around the room. It's probably a good solid 2 stories in and of itself, just this one room, with a second level balcony that appears to be above up. A very wonderful armchair, couple different seating areas, a very beautiful fireplace that now has a roaring and crackling fire in it. You also see other artifacts and other alcoves that have other artifacts within them, from what you can tell. And now standing next to the black staff with one hand grasping it, a female half-elven woman stands looking at all of you. She looks more elven than human, but she is her features are more rugged than are more rugged for an elf, but by far fairer than any human you've ever seen. Her darker tan skin, which is mostly hidden by a beautiful midnight blue dress that seems to move and seems to almost have different little specks of light embedded within it, gives almost the appearance of the night sky on the darkest of nights. The dress cascades across her body and down to the floor, where it meets the floor. The shoulders are cut off of the dress, leaving her arms and shoulders bare, also revealing this darker tan skin. Black hair falls down from her shoulders, framing the angled features of her face. You can only tell she's half elven by her ears, which slightly point out from her hair, not as predominantly as most elves do. Her eyes, when you first get a glance at them, look black, but as you focus in on them, you realize that they are a very, very dark shade of purple. In her hand, she holds the 5 to 6 foot long staff, which is the color of black coal. And adorning the top of the staff, once again, is that carved wolf heads with 2 inset emeralds for eyes. As she speaks, her voice is oddly melodic and very pleasing to the ear. You wish to speak with me? Who are you, and why have you come to this place?
Well, it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I am Clarissa Skytinker of Gadget's Peak, a member of the Texria Institute from the capital, and a wandering magician in the service of this merry band of adventurers, and she gestures to everyone behind her. We call ourselves the Ordo Custodes. We look out for the weak and fight evil and, all that sort of stereotypical adventure-y stuff. We're investigating some dark deeds we believe are going on in the city, and, after asking around, I was told that this is the place where practitioners of magic gather, and I thought, as fellow masters of the art, we could perhaps confer on some of the things that have been happening in your fair town and share knowledge and whatnot.
Dark deeds within the city. There are quite a few that have been gaining my attention as of late. Her eyes seem to kind of just drift off into space slightly. What is it you wish to know, Clarissa of the Sky Tinkers?
Well,
What can I help you with?
well, first and foremost, because I don't want to be rude, may I perhaps know your name?
I am Blackstaff Lesnalora. I run most of the magical items and the magical practitioners here. Most of them are other adventuring groups known as yourselves. Most of them spend their time here within Plona. They are in service to me.
Well then,
You speak of the dark deeds of this city, and the dark deeds that are being done within the city.
yes, specifically two things I think are of our concern, and she kind of glances back at everybody else and says, this murderer known as the Butcher, what can you tell us of him?
The Butcher. An individual. Individual. Sorry, words confuse me sometimes. This being that calls himself the Butcher has been plaguing the city of Plona for quite some time, and he is not necessarily my concern at this point. The Stormblades have made it abundantly clear that they want to be handling him tonight, or handling him throughout this place and time.
Interesting.
I have instructed the Grey Cloaks to keep an eye on the situation, but not to interfere.
Well, I suppose it makes sense to respect the wishes of the city guards, although it is maybe a bit odd that they've taken such a personal interest in this. She puts a emphatic question mark in the end of that.
Odd, yes, but not unheard of. The Grey Cloaks, or the Grey Cloak, or the Grey Hands, technically, sorry. The Grey Hands operate oftentimes outside the city limits. Plona is one of the least magical places you will find apart from celestial and divine magics.
Clarissa looks immensely disappointed at this.
Fear not, little one. There are quite a few things that we do here. I am, as I said, the leader of the Great Hands. We report directly to Silverhand Mezor, whose guidance we trust. It is our mission and our goal to locate and bring back to our vaults the powerful magical items and artifacts that are in the hands of evil individuals. There are a few items that we have personally been unable to locate as of late, but that is not your concern. That is not your concern at this moment in time. However, you said you're an adventuring group of individuals.
Yes, that is correct. We've had many, many adventures that have taken us to many interesting and some horrifying places. And we have experience dealing with magical artifacts.
Interesting.
So the other thing we were interested in, and that I personally was rather interested in hearing the, I guess, local magical places take on it. What do you make of the healings being done in the Celestial Square? We tried to get close to see this purported wonderful magical artifact, and I don't know. I get the sense that there's something.
You see her face, which up until this point has been fairly non-moving and non-emotional, kind of take on this slightly annoyed look. These miracles, as the common folk have begun to call them, are nothing more than that of a very powerful magical item that has been brought into the city. They have not done anything wrong with this item, and as far as we can tell, the individual who is currently controlling it does not pose any threat to the city. He only wishes to continue to, quote, heal the city. At this point.
Something tells me you're skeptical of that.
I am skeptical of any artifact that is brought into this city without my express knowledge or my express time to look over it, to determine its usefulness or its dangerous. It is very possible that this artifact is a many number of things, but without personal time to look over it, I have not been able to acquire or tell exactly what it is. The Celestial Sanctuary and myself have had a bit of a falling out as of late. I may or may not have offended High Speaker Thaujadel in our last meeting.
Well, for what it's worth, I think all that religious hokey baloney is a bunch of hoopla anyway. That artifact is clearly magical in nature and should be examined by experts.
It may be hoopla in your eyes, but do not question and do not always so quickly dismiss the divine magical energies that are within this world. There is magic, yes. We do rely on the powers that come from the earth and that come from the different ley lines and the normal magical energies that every individual and being gives off. But some, like your friends, do claim their magical abilities from others, other entities and beings throughout this universe. Their magical abilities by themselves are quite small, distant, but through their beliefs and through their courage to take that leap of faith, their powers are amplified. Do not dismiss it so easily. There are some powers in this world that even I do not understand. And her eyes grow distant once again, before resuming back on all of you.
Yeah, well, I should not monopolize the conversation. Anybody? Would you like to introduce yourselves one by one, I suppose?
Alright, I'll do so.
She stands there.
Short and... Yep.
Salix Drennan, pleased to make your acquaintance.
You all go one by one, introducing yourselves quickly or unquickly. She nods at every single one of you. She brings her hand up, and as the last of you finishes speaking, she brings her hand up and just waves it in front of her and says, "Interesting. You have a long path in front of you. A path that even my eye cannot see forth. I look forward to seeing what becomes of your group. If you prove yourself, the Grey Hands and myself may have work for you in the future. Whether you are looking for gold as adventurers, and whether or not you will survive our tasks, is yet to be seen. But we may have work for your group in the future. Whether it's gold or magical items that you seek, both of which may may be able to be acquired by you.
And how might we prove ourselves?
You will have to prove yourself through the current mission you are on. I look forward to speaking with Eros's replacement soon. It has been far too long since I've spoke with a representative from them. Now, what else do you wish to know? Our time grows short here.
Well, everybody, I just have one final question before we head out on our way, having made this lovely acquaintance. But I will let everybody else go first.
How might we get inside Nightstone Spire?
You kind of see her face just kind of squint at you for a second, and then a smile breaks across her, what has normally already been like a very stone face. You wish to get into Nightstone Spire? Well, there's always one proven way to get into it. Get arrested?
How about
We'll
one
get you
that
in there.
shackles?
Apart from express permission from the Master Lords, or, in short, becoming a Stormblade yourself, there is no way in. And better yet, to the best of my knowledge, there has been no one who has gotten out without being led out in chains. It's something you will have to discover on your own.
I told you getting arrested was the best way in.
Maybe some of your other connections would have more useful hints or useful ideas into how to get in. Unfortunately, in this matter, my hands are bound. Her eyes slowly linger on Karma for a second, and then dart over and around everyone else.
So, change the topic here a little bit. You say you're after evil magical items. We kind of found one of those in Loudwater. It was like a sentient dagger that seemed very evil and actually controlled Closer here for a little bit. So, I want to take a look at that.
Loudwater, you say? Can you
Yes.
describe,
Yeah, there's
can you describe the dagger?
Closer, you got a better look at it than I did, I think.
Yeah, sure. And she'll give a rundown of the debacle that happened in
As you finish giving a
Curiosity
rundown,
Shop.
as you finish giving a rundown of it, her eyes don't change. Her demeanor does not change. She just nods simply and says, "I will send some of my grey hands to go look towards it, and look at it, and look into this matter."
Yeah, a most excellent idea.
You say you're an expert on magical items?
Yes.
I am.
Perhaps you could tell us something about some of the items we carry?
You see her eyes grow distant once again, as though she's staring off into space and staring off into someone and staring off to somebody that is not in the room with you. Her eyes refocus back on you. I'm sorry, my attention has been pulled elsewhere. I have time to look over one item that you speak of before I am needed to attend to my other duties.
Gonna look pointedly over at Riven.
Yeah, that was actually something I was gonna ask. Do you guys mind if she takes a look at my fire staff that we got off Demon?
Please.
Dark Blades.
Oh,
That
go
seems
right
to
ahead.
catch on fire and do other things.
Go right ahead.
Yeah,
But then using message, Clarissa is going to add up. But if she deems it to be dangerous, we should probably leave it here.
Just gonna glare at her.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go up to what's her face, and kind of draw it out. And
Blackstaff
you-
Lesinola.
You pull it out, you hand it to her, you relinquish it to her without any incident. She takes a moment.
that's a good sign.
She takes a moment. She doesn't even take it in both hands. She takes it in one hand, and it's kind of weird. You see her standing there with her left hand, which has never left the black staff that with the wolf head, and you see her thumb occasionally just kind of rub the wolf head itself, and just kind of almost as though she's petting it for some weird reason. She takes your staff in one hand, glances it over, turns it over once or twice. Her eyes go from the normal pupils and white to full purple before returning back to their normal status. This weapon that you hold, it walks a very thin line. The more evil it does, the more its power grows. The more it continues on a path that has already been predestined for it. It in and of itself at this moment in time is not an artifact that I or my grey hands will be searching for. However, a couple 100 years from now, it may turn into something that we will require to possess. However, there is an extra ability that you seem not to know at this point. If you speak the demonic words for thunder and fire, thunder or fire, once per day, you will be able to use one of those spells. And Ryben, that should have popped up on your screen.
No.
To the player. There you go.
Yeah.
Should have been added.
Yes.
Once per day, you can if you speak the demonic runes or the demonic words for thunder or for fire, you can use at will the spell Thunderwave or the spell Scorching Ray.
Ooh. Do you know the words for Thunderwave?
She tells you the words.
It's not a language I know.
She tells you the words.
Okay.
I told you to.
And she tells you the words, and you learn them easily enough. And as you say the words, the runes that go up and down the entire shaft of the pole light up. You don't feel the magical energy fire, but you do feel more connected to the staff. As she hands the spear back to you. This spear's destiny is intertwined with your own. Be careful of the road you walk, or it may hasten this spear's and this item's destiny, for ill or for good. Now, my grey hands will show you out, and I will, if you have need of us, we will be around and watching. But we dare not interfere. All the lights dim. You're entirely engulfed in blackness. Even those of you who have dark vision cannot see until that single beat of light comes back down into the center of the room, and nothing but the black staff with the wolf head and the emerald eyes standing there. The door opens behind you. The same gray cloaked individual is standing there, leads you back down the stairs, back out the front of the obsidian spire, and back out into the midday fog and rain. The fog is kind of cleared away, but now the kind of overcast and slight drizzle that is pouring down onto the city of Plona.
Well,
Wow, that was
that's interesting.
That was not
Yeah.
what I expected. That was quite
No.
magical.
yeah. I'm
Nice.
pleasantly surprised. I thought that would go way worse.
I stick my head out of Karma's bag and kind of just pat at his shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that group of contacts may be very, very interesting for the future. Interesting for me, personally. Clarissa mutters under her breath and then says, but unfortunately, I don't feel like we're really all that much closer.
Yeah, that doesn't solve our immediate problem.
No,
Hey,
it certainly doesn't, but she did hint at other contacts we have in the city. I mean, I can certainly only think of one member of our group who has any contacts in this city.
We need to go speak with
Yep.
Nell again.
Hey, real quick, Clarissa, would you... I think Emerald wants to say something. Would you message her real quick?
Do I have to?
You hear the
Yes.
cat hiss at you.
All right, fine. She'll open a link.
Okay.
How long was I in there for? God, it stinks.
Oh, you just wanted to
Oh.
complain. I will tell Karma to sweat less. How about that?
Not necessary. It's just the bag. I don't know what's in here, but man, does it smell bad.
I will convey that, and then she'll just break the connection, and then
Okay.
say to Karma, "Your shit smells extremely bad. Emerald's not happy. Going to have cat pee on it, probably."
That is not going to make it smell better.
I kind of like go up beside, like, just have my head popped out of the bag and rest of my body inside of it. Kind of PO'd that it's raining.
Okay.
So, did anyone else recognize when she mentioned that they served Silverhand Mazor?
I don't think it sounded familiar to me.
Conversation with Nell yesterday, he said that the leader of the Masked Lords was only known by the name Silverhand.
Well, it would make sense that they serve the Masked Lords. They are the premier magical organization in the city, right?
Yes, that does make sense. But I don't know. It does. Do you get the impression that there are multiple agencies working against each other in this city?
There's a lot of cloak and dagger that seems to be going on around here, and I would prefer not to be on the wrong side of those daggers.
And I find this the most interesting, well, maybe not the most interesting, but interesting thing that we haven't talked about so far was that we know that Skittles was captured in the Celestial Sanctuary, and now he's in a prison run by the Stormblades, who answer to the Masked Lords. And the Masked Lords in the Celestial Sanctuary sort of vie for control of the city, don't they? So why would they give him up? Especially when he was, ostensibly, since he's also one of his crimes is killing someone, which probably happened at the Celestial Sanctuary.
Yeah, it certainly seems odd, doesn't it?
There's definitely something else going on that we don't know about.
And it
But-
seems like the Stormblades are working in counter to this Grey Hand order, at least when it comes to some stuff inside the city.
Yeah. Well, the nature of the Greyhand's work might cause them to have stickier fingers than the Stormblades would like within their walls.
You see, I'm thinking just the opposite. It seems like the Stormblades are just puppets of the Celestial orders, who clearly have a habit of nagging magical artifacts for themselves, as we saw the other day.
Mm-hmm. So
I don't know. It doesn't make sense yet. I think we're missing something.
Turning to Karma, should we go speak to Nell? I mean, what are we gonna do? We either need to get inside.
Well, I think
Next-
I should go speak to Nell, but before I do, I mean, they don't take well to outsiders, so before we do,
Yesterday.
what should I ask them?
We're not outsiders. We were there.
Yeah, we were in the tavern yesterday.
They know us.
It goes a lot deeper than that.
Well, we're coming.
Well, I
with-
don't know. You.
So
you,
I need, basically, they trade information. They don't just give it away. Nell gave us information that we got the other day because it was common knowledge. If we're looking for stuff that's more, that's less known, I'm going to need something to give them in return.
Well, there is another option that our new friend that I think we're overlooking. One of us getting arrested would definitely get us inside the prison. But what about one of us joining the Stormblades?
Like as a recruit.
Yeah.
I mean, even if that were possible, they're gonna station us in the prison on their first day?
I don't know. That seems like a good place to stick a recruit.
I think maybe we're better off getting someone arrested.
I vote not me this time.
I don't know. Couldn't you just explode your way out of the prison if need be?
Bar fight?
Well, yeah, but yeah.
How about we know? How about one of us we know can take care of themselves and by themselves, hand to hand? And I look at Riven.
I say, honestly, with what I've seen from Riven here, he could just vamp out of there if he wanted.
Well, hang on. No one has
Yeah, but
ever
I can't
escaped
take
from
you
this
with
prison.
me.
No one that we know of. I mean, what are they going to say? People are escaping every day?
I don't
take it
know.
you're
I
having
find
this
it.
conversation as you're walking back towards the Brass Tiger.
Right.
Yeah.
So I propose that, well, we have about 48 hours on this death clock.
What do you propose?
DM, I'd like to keep an eye out for people again this time.
Okay,
And-
perception check.
Since I'm in his back, I'm gonna take a eye out as well.
Okay, perception check.
16.
Okay.
Where's my dice?
What do you propose, Tyrion?
I propose that instead of speaking, well, directly to the, what did we spoke to the warden, yes? Okay, yes, the warden.
Warden Binluck?
15.
Warden Binluff. Well, we got the story straight from the guy in charge. I have a feeling if we want to know what's really going on in that prison, that we speak to some of the underlings, preferably those that are no longer on shift,
My mistake.
preferably at a bar where we can use our charming pink gnome to possibly get some information out of them.
My mistake. Warden Ulif. Binluck was the lesser.
Oh wait, Binlick was the not warden. I actually have
Yeah.
them both written
It was
down
just-
as warden. Gotcha. Nope, that is correct. Okay. Either way, that's obviously only going to give us the official story. If we really think there's something else going on here, it's clearly focused in some way around the prison. That may be our best place to get information now, since Karma, you say we can't just ask Nell for this.
No.
Okay, well, I'm gonna take your word for that because
I mean,
she's pretty sketchy, and you're pretty sketchy too. So
I could definitely, I could get answers from them, but the thing is, I would need to trade them. So if
what
you
would
guys
you
can,
trade them?
answers for answers. So if you guys can think of any things they might not know, I kind of nod towards my backpack. That's already kind of common knowledge. It might be worth trading. Other than that, I have no idea what I could trade for more information at this point.
Are you intimating that we use a mural as information bait?
Just
And I
the-
pop my head out and just hiss.
Not necessarily that, but that there's a mercenary group, a bounty hunter group in town that attacked us. A fairly well-known one that they're operating within their territory. I'm sure they wouldn't take kindly to that.
We don't even have to tell them who their target is, right? We could just say that we know that the hybrid Spain is in town.
We could definitely do that, and but I don't see why we can't multitask. Karma, you can go in and talk to them, and we can see if we can get any useful information out of the guards.
How long has it been, DM, since we started the bar?
But like by this point and throughout most of this conversation, you've made it most of the way back. Like you may eventually make it back to the bar.
Hey, Clarissa,
What?
would you message me real quick?
Sure. Boop. Yes.
There are two people following us wearing gray cloaks a ways back. Don't want to be surprised like we were last time. Keep your eyes out, but don't be obvious about it.
Do they look like the gray cloaks from the tower we were just in? I'm sure that's probably all it is.
Do they?
They do.
They do.
I wouldn't worry about it then. That order has clearly shown, I think. I mean, well, it doesn't make sense, right? If they wanted to murder us, they should have murdered us while we were in their tower.
Okay.
You can keep an eye on them if you want, but let's not do anything rash.
Okay.
Or alarm our skittish cat friend.
All right. So, two-pronged
Just-
approach.
Yeah, we could definitely multitask. I could go to my friends, see if they know anything. You guys could go and find some guards. What do you think?
I think that would be a good idea. So we're back at the.
At this point, you've made it back. You would have made it back to the Brass Tiger at this point.
All right. So
Someone with you.
There's somebody. It's risky, but I spotted somebody who I possibly could ask.
Oh, you have friends?
I
People
don't have
that
many friends,
Yeah.
but it's a matter of whether or not they know if I'm part of the monastery anymore or not.
I thought
what now?
I thought you were dead.
Yeah, but information's hard to get out. They might just know that I'm an agent person.
Okay.
And generally speaking, those out in the world are there to help us complete our contracts. I could, for the most part, see if they could help. They might not know that I'm on a contract or not.
Sure. What happens if they do know? Do we really need another mercenary group coming after us? Because you're
it would
kind of
be
a scary
mercenary.
guy. I'm not sure I want to deal with the people that made you scary.
It's not mercenaries that would come after us.
That does not fill me with a great sense of comfort.
Is it many more hands, as you called them?
Many, probably.
Many.
Most likely, many.
At
Like,
this
at
point, you've
least-
made it back to the Brass Tiger, and you are either standing out in front or you have grabbed a table and you are back inside.
I mean, I'm all for bar fight, get arrested plan personally, but you know, whatever.
Well, let's keep that in our back pocket.
Yeah.
If we really come up against the clock,
That's Plan B.
I'm trying to be more.
let's call that Plan B.
Let's
D.
call that plan like D.
Yeah, I think even
I'm
if
with
Plan
letter
B
for
doesn't
the
go
alphabet.
right, we can do better. Because
That definitely has the option for hybrid.
especially considering that if we do get someone arrested, to break them out, we need to have a plan to break them out. So let's just come out with a plan to break them out, and possibly we can use that on Snickers.
Skittles?
Also,
I got that wrong on purpose.
Well, what's the point? That's whatever.
And
The whole code name thing throws me off, so sure. Skittles. He's Snickers' brother.
Would it be any use at all to look up Baylor here in town? Baylor, Brea's oldest brother.
I mean, we could. I don't even think we told Brea we were leaving, so I doubt he would know of us, but we could try.
Do we think he could offer us any help at all?
He might be able to. I feel like he might want to confirm our identities first if he doesn't know, and that could take time. But since we're splitting our attention anyway,
So we have three
a
options.
three-way split is as good as a two-way.
Karma's gonna go to the unmarkable place on the map.
Sure.
We're gonna go to you and me, at least, are gonna go find wherever it is the Stormblades go when they're not on duty.
I would like to suggest Clarissa come along and possibly get her flirt on, provided she tries not to set anything on fire.
But what if they're in the fire?
Well, I guess we'll play it by ear then.
Before I go, guys, can you guys think of any other piece of information they might not know that I could have to trade? I don't think just this mere fact would be enough.
And Mural.
I would say a mural exists in this city. You don't know where or who she looks like, but you've heard that she's here, possibly. I mean, $1 million reward is probably something they'd be interested
What is
in.
$1?
Clarissa,
Million
ask-
gold.
Clarissa,
Reward.
ask Meryl if she's okay with that.
Boop. Well,
The brother.
I mean, they're gonna find out, would be my guess.
Well, the Avista already, from the sounds of it, that Karma said from Arrows, has already promised me safety. I don't know if that still continues to this location, so I am on the fence 50-50. If you think it is valid information, go right ahead. Otherwise, have fun getting attacked by 100 different rogues in this city. Not
Thank
just
you.
including the bounty hunters.
There's maybe something, I don't know if it's anything worth trading. You could tell them that the Brotherhood has a new leader and that they're no longer that they're wandering Zebros. The Avista is definitely something that the Brotherhood would have been interested in squashing at the time when there was more than one of us.
Okay,
Is that something that would interest them?
probably.
and Meryl says she would prefer not to take the plan that involves her, but we can do it if we think it will work. Or something about have fun getting attacked by hundreds of mercenaries. I don't know.
And what do we want in return? Just an entrance into the prison?
And an exit would be nice. Yeah, I mean, I feel like if anyone could possibly know a way in or out of the impenetrable prison, it's the, well, shall we say, shady guild of people that have their fingers in lots of pies.
What about a secret way to the Celestial Sanctuary? Is that something we're interested in? Well, maybe not, seeing how well that turned out for Skittles.
I was just gonna say,
Okay.
So,
So, yeah,
that's the plan.
All right,
well,
guys.
I'm going
well,
to inquire with the innkeeper or whoever is there right now. What time of day is it?
It's probably approaching noon at this point.
Approaching noon.
all right, guys. Well, I go and take Meryl out of my backpack and
Okay.
hand it over to somebody else. I'm gonna be about it then. I'll meet you guys back here in an hour.
Do you want me to
Mm.
accompany you to the door to make sure you're not
alone?
kept?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I can't get in, probably, still.
Yeah, you
But-
go ahead, come with me. Just we'll have you just stay outside and keep an eye out.
That's fine, I can do that.
Think you could visit your possible friend while you're on this errand, Ryben?
Let's save that in the back pocket. I think I know where to find him if I need to.
Okay.
I kind of pot Clarissa again.
Boop. You're a very needy feline.
Well, it helps that I can't talk normally. If it's possible, could I take like a 15-20 minute break just to kind of get my shapeshift abilities back?
I suppose so. Do you want me to dump you in an alleyway or dump you back in your room or...
Just back in my room would be fine. And I kind of just like crawl onto her shoulder.
Okay.
Pardon me, I need to take this cat upstairs for no particular reason. I'll be back.
I'm gonna
Clarissa
start.
goes waddling off upstairs. Carmen, you
start-
begin making your way towards the tavern that is unplottable, also known as... I don't have in my pockets.
I still don't have a name for this either.
I don't either. I will say you make your way. To the 12 diamonds is what what I would call it, and everyone would know that, by the way.
12 diamonds.
Is Nell working when I come in?
You don't see Nell working. I mean, no, you do actually. As you walk in, no, he would be there at that point in time. No, as you walk in, you see Nell standing at the bar, on his as he's like standing there, kind of pouring drinks to whatever it is, the mid-afternoon kind. He waves over and he says, "Ah, good to see you, old friend. Glad that you're back. What can I do for you?"
I'm gonna break off and go find a seat in the corner.
Okay.
The darkest,
You do.
loneliest corner.
That's relatively difficult as all of the corners are currently filled by other individuals who look about as shady, if not shadier, than you.
Table that faces where he went into last time.
You don't know where he went into last time.
I walked with him until I got kicked out from that side.
Okay, so you know. Okay, so you're facing. Okay, so you're back in that area. You find a seat. It's at the bar. It's next to two very, very boisterous other individuals who are like kind of cheering and like going, "Ha ha, yes!" and with their neighbors. And you're just kind of sitting there very awkwardly and uncomfortably. You order a drink and that's about it. Sip on it very sparingly.
That works for me.
So, so Karma, you walk up to Nell. Nell says, what can I do for you? So glad to see you back. Hope our last meeting wasn't enough to frighten you away. We wouldn't want any non-return customers around here, would we?
Karma, I assume you're going to speak.
Or are you just gonna stand there awkwardly?
His internet's been
Oh, he's not on the call.
touchy.
I love how I'm talking to all this and Karma has no clue what's going on. So, while we're waiting for Karma to get back, Tyrion, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go talk to whoever is the innkeeper in the afternoon and inquire as to two things.
Okay.
First, if they've seen that elven lady around. And second, and I guess more importantly, to the group, where the Stormcloaks tend to spend their evenings when they're off duty. Their local watering hole, if you will.
Okay. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes for something else real quick.
Perfectly fine.
Anyways. Okay. So, you eventually, as he says, well, that elven lady, she was in here last night, and she's coming to come. She came in last night while you were actually waiting around, but she left quite quickly after that. I'm assuming you're talking about the one with the face tattoo. Is that correct?
That Yes, that is correct.
Oh yeah, she's quite a feisty one.
Do you happen to know her name?
Still haven't fully been able to catch her. Haven't been able to catch her full name as of yet, but
That sounds about right.
apart from all the other individuals who've been yelling at her and calling her sweetheart and asking her to come in her lap, she's quite a feisty one. The last man that tried to advance on her, she pulled a dagger out of God knows where and had it at his balls before he could even react, and he just looked down and she spoke softly into his ear. I don't know what she said. I believe I caught the word hunt in there, some word, or the chase or something was along what she said. But
okay, thank you very much.
But if you're inquiring about the Stormcloaks, the Stormblades, not
Stormblades,
Stormcloaks.
sorry.
Yeah, the Stormblades. The Stormblades, those they normally meet on closer towards the to the actual Nightstone Spire itself. It's a establishment known as the Married Beaver. The Married Beaver itself, it's not really the most not really the most nice place to get a drink or food, but we'll get you drunk if you need to. I take it that's why you're trying to go there. Get a good drink, but I've got plenty of wonderful beer and plenty of wonderful alcohol here if that's what you're needing.
Oh, I was merely feeling the urge to go talk to some people, swap some battle stories. It's been a long time on the road, and felt that might be the place to do it.
That would make sense, but yeah, but absolutely.
I'm very glad you think so.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, you're looking for the Married Beaver, is what you're looking for. So, that would be the place. Yes.
I'm back.
Married Beaver. Thank you very much for your help.
All right. So, Karma, as you're talking to Nell, as you walk in and Ryven kind of darts off into just kind of blending in with the afternoon crowd as much as he can. It's kind of weird because as you notice him go just sitting down at the bar, you see him sit between two very boisterous individuals, and he's kind of just awkwardly sitting there with kind of a drink in his hand. That's about it. It's kind of weird. Nell speaks up and says, good. Zodian says, good to see you. Glad you were able to make your way back here. What can we do for you today? I'm glad we didn't frighten you off.
Good to see you too. Now, tell you what, I have some more information to trade. If
you're looking to do that, not best done here. Jesus, what the fuck do you think we are? We've got some Stormblades over there. Are you an idiot or something? Shut up!
Man. Savage.
I now have to roll for the Stormblades who are in the bar itself. Luckily, they are very intoxicated at this point and do not notice Nell's hurried reaction. He kind of glances over his shoulder, looks over at them, back at you, and says, "If you're wanting to go speak to Uthrog and talk about business, you know where the entrance is."
Last time I had to go through you first. I didn't know that.
What member are you? Get your ass over there if you're looking to do that.
I'm already on the way
Come
back
on.
there.
You make your way back. You kind of sneakily, as much as you can, make your way to the fire. Go ahead and make a stealth check. God.
It'll ever change, Rhino.
With the tail between his legs.
That's
good.
Happy right now.
28.
Easily enough. And they're pretty intoxicated at this point. Like, the two Stormcloaks you see sitting at another table, like, farther distance off, you're able to just be like, yeah, they're drunk. You make your way into the fire. That familiar sensation of rising, and then all of a sudden looking out and forward, and you go stumbling into the familiar circular room. The familiar circular room at this point. surrounded once again by all of these different cabinets that are currently around, all similar looking. You see a few other members currently at their different cabinets, and a few at the table that are currently just enjoying a nice drink in this area. That is not the main hustle and bustle of the main tavern. You see the door. You see the two doors. The two doors across the hall. You make your way towards the one that is Uthrock's. You approach the door.
Knock.
You knock. You knock. Enter. You hear it come from the other end. You enter. You push open the door. Once again, the very same dimly lit but very well dressed office space. And sitting in front of you is once again the half-orc individual that you know as Pillar Uthrock, the head, from what you can tell, the head of the Plona chapter of the Avista. Ah, you again. What is it you want this time? More information, I take it.
Yes, I'd look to trade information.
Trade.
This time?
Good. It's exactly what I love to hear.
What I'm looking for, if you're willing to trade it, would be, if you have it, would be a way into the prison here in town, and possibly a way out. Might be one and the same, I don't know. Is that something that you would be willing to trade?
I've lost my notes on some of this shit. Fuck. Okay. Make a persuasion roll.
I like these. $21.
Blackstone Spire. You wish to enter it. Well, there's one sure way to get in. Get caught.
I'm
However-
not talking about that one.
However, you're looking to get in without being noticed.
Yep.
For a price, that is something we can provide. Now
Okay.
that price depends on the information that you have to trade, or the gold you're willing to spend.
Well, I have 3 pieces of information that I can trade. Hopefully that'll be enough for it.
Start with the one you think is worth most, and we will see what it is from there.
Alright, well, I'll start with 2 then.
Okay, go ahead.
Have you heard of a group called the Hybrid's Bane? I take it he's going to remain silent, and what I'm going to say, they're an order of bounty hunters that a lot of them are infected with lycanthropy. They are here in town right now. You may have heard about the latest quote-unquote butcher attack. That was one of their cells that was taken out. They're here on contract based off of an individual by the name of Emerald. The bounty is 1 million for the capture of her alive and 500,000 for her dead. Is that enough?
Interesting information. That would be enough to get you in. Getting out, that's on you. And your merry band of friends. He almost chews the last word. But it is something that we can help you out with. At least getting in.
Okay. What can you tell me?
there is a pipe, a crack in their defenses, close to the water's edge, that is not seen by the bridge that sways, nor the sentries that walk the perimeter of the spire. Along the outside of the spire, there are ledges and walls that the sentries walk. We've tried multiple times to find blind spots, but they always see our boats before we approach. It is impossible to get to these ledges from the inside, as far as we are aware of. All of the informants that we have sent in have either perished within and are still there, or have been executed before we could get them out. We have found one path, and one path only, that leads to one of these ledges. It is a path that our most skilled boat salesman will be able to take you through. Along this ledge, it will lead you to a crack in the wall. This crack is narrow enough for one individual to slip through. However, the guards don't know this, as they view it as more or less just a natural crack in the stone. This crack leads to a cave inside that is just behind, and that leads just into the central chamber of the prison itself, from what we understand. The central chamber of the prison is a cylindrical, and he has to like think on that word hard. Cylindrical tower spire that runs up the middle of it. If one was to break through this wall, they would come out in that cylindrical spire. However, below, from what we have gained, are sharp, jagged rocks that will impale you if you fall. Above is the main prison. This empty space in the middle of the prison offers the prisoners a way out if the solitude becomes too much to bear, or if their existence is not worth it to them. That is what we know about Blackstone Spire. It is not a place that we venture voluntarily. And hell, you seem like you're volunteering to get in there. I don't know if Karma left. Nope, he's done.
He dropped.
Damn it, Karma! Okay, so, moving back to Tyrion.
This information stuns him into silence for an indeterminate amount of time. It's a lot to take in all fairness. It's a lot.
I really hope somebody else is taking. I really hope somebody else is taking notes for that, because I'm not repeating that, or I will just have him go back and re-listen to it.
Secret entrance.
Great. So Tyrion, you find out where you find out this place known as the Married Beaver. Anyone else doing anything else?
Well, our cat's up in her room.
Clarissa and Salix went with Tyrion, I assume.
I don't think we've left yet.
No,
We're still waiting on a mural.
I thought we were going right now.
I would like to, though. Actually, I'm going to ask the bartender one more question. What time do the shifts change at the prison? Do you know this?
I don't know. It's on the other side of town. We're over on the eastern side.
Fair enough. I thought perhaps maybe you got some patrons
on the northern
from that,
side.
But, you've been helpful enough. We will venture over that way ourselves and. be returning at another time, I'm sure. So I'm gonna.
I do thank you for your business, and I do thank you for your business, and your tab is currently open. We look forward to your continued patronage here at the Brass Tiger.
Delightful. Alright, so I'm gonna tell Salix and Larissa what's going on, and be like, where's Amiral?
Okay.
She wanted to do cat things alone
She coming
for a
with us?
while,
Oh.
a bit.
Well,
Hi.
stay here.
Okay, cat things. Cat things it is. Well, perhaps we should let her know what we're doing.
One of you can go up there.
Yeah, I'm gonna head up there and just knock on her door.
All right. You hear a knock.
Presumably back in the normal elven
Yep.
form.
Yep.
I open the door. Sorry about that. I just, with the amount of time spent out and about, I would only have 3 hours if I was to continue. I just needed to take a short break.
A catnap?
Practically.
Okay. Well, we are going to be setting off to hopefully get some more information off the Stormblades. If you would you like to join us, or would you feel more secure here?
Not by myself. No. I'm presuming I had enough time to take a short break.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I just kind of jump at Tyrion and transform into a cat, kind of spooking him at the same time.
It catches you a little off.
I don't think that spooks me. I've seen some shit, man.
It catches you a little off guard, but not enough to make you physically react. You just kind of see Amiral take a running leap at you and almost kind of go for a hug, and as she does, she transforms into a cat and lands in your arms. You take her downstairs.
Alrighty.
Okay.
So, I propose we head in the direction of the Merry Beaver. He said it was over by the prison itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, you all, the rest of you who are heading in that direction, make your way to the Married Beaver. Takes you probably about an hour to make your way once again back in that direction.
I'm keeping my head out of Tyrion's bag and just kind of looking behind us
Okay.
as best as I can.
Okay.
And I rolled a 18, 15 plus 3.
You notice two individuals pretty far back, not really seeming to be aggressive or anything in their nature, but they seem to be wearing gray cloaks, and they seem to be kind of just following you at this point.
Following our side, they didn't follow Karma when he left.
Seem to be following your side, yeah.
Ah, shit. Okay.
Karma didn't look, so whether or not they're following him, he doesn't know.
I'm back,
Okay.
by the way.
Okay. Hey, I don't know how much you heard, by the way.
I asked my question about, where that little thing leads. I didn't hear anything after that. Not a word.
Okay. It leads to a small inner chamber, and you can go back and listen to this later on. It leads to a small inner chamber, which on the other side, from what they have been able to gain, is a cylindrical like the inner cylindrical area of the prison. Above them is above where that. So it's like inner chamber. Just on the other side of the wall of that chamber is like a cylindrical space that runs pretty much the entire length of the spire, from what you can tell, and above it is the normal portion of the prison. It allows for them to, if you are to jump down through that cylindrical spire, you would land on sharp rocks that would ultimately impale you.
So the crack leads directly inside then.
Not directly inside. There's it leads to a small chamber, which then there's a small hollowed out chamber, which then there's a wall, and then if on the other side of that wall is that cylindrical vein that runs all the way up and down the prison itself.
Okay, so then I would have asked. So there's of no way to get through that wall then?
Apart from sorry, I'm having to bounce back and forth. Apart from having to blast through it ourselves and reveal our entrance way, no.
Okay. Well, you've provided quite a bit of information. Thank you for the trade. By the way,
Anything else you're looking for?
nothing more to trade, but just I'm kind of curious. Is Pillar a title, or is that your first name? I've heard people refer to
You
it as
don't know
Pillar.
much about the Avista, do you?
I do not.
New blood is always the sweetest. It is a title given to one who runs the chapters of each city. You have met 2 at this point. This is information I give freely. Do not be dissuaded. Do not take this as a trade. This is information I give freely to one within our organization.
And I won't intrude on your time anymore. I know you're very busy. Thank you.
You have met 2. Myself. Pillar Nyx. She is the leader of our organization as a whole within the country of Zephyros. This is things you ought to know progressing forward. The fact that she has taken an interest in you so deeply concerns me. He lets out a small guttural growl. So,
I'll make my way back out.
Okay.
I say thanks.
you say thank you. You make your way back out. You down through the fireplace, back out into the main area. Now people are babbling about. No one seems to notice your entrance. Make your way out of the tavern.
And I'll just say hello to Nyx, or to Nell again. Talk a little bit of small talk, whatever. Make my way out. Make my way back to the brass
Tiger.
tiger.
Yep. All right. You do as such, and Nell and you share a laugh, you share a drink, and you make your way back to the Brass Tiger. As you make your way to the Brass Tiger, nobody is there from the rest of your group apart from yourself and Ryven. Rest of the group, you make your way to the Married Beaver.
And at that point, I kind of paw at Tyrion and kind of try to get his attention once we get inside the building.
You have it.
I paw at
What do
him
you
again.
want, cat? Do you want milk in a saucer?
I kind of glare at him.
It's as much of a glare as a cat can give.
I was gonna say you're a cat. That's got to be standard.
Adorable.
And I paw at him again.
Okay.
I pat Emerald on the head.
I paw the hand.
Tyrion. Tyrion.
Salix.
Pick Rail up. Put her in your bag.
Alright, I'm gonna do that.
Yep. Pick up the cat, put it in your bag. Whoop.
And I pop my head out and I paw him again.
Cat continues to paw at you.
I don't know.
This is entertaining. I could just use message, but I kind of want to watch Tyrion figure this out.
And
So as you make your way,
I look
as you make your way
behind me.
into the, into the Married Beaver, it's a fairly lively place. You see a bunch of Stormblades, from what you can tell, all wearing the same kind of very similar armor, but all once again very rainbowish of colors. There's a small band playing in the corner, a very lively a very lively tavern music. Sometimes singing, sometimes just enjoying it on their instruments. They all seem to be kind of off duty. Seem to be kind of just some seem to be kind of just partially out of their armor. Others seem to be like fully in kind of just normal slacks and dress clothes. You see different tavern maids walking around, serving drinks around and about. Overall, a very lively atmosphere in this place.
Okay. I'm going to... Alright. Clarissa, this cat is freaking out. Can you do something about this? You seem to have a pretty good rapport with her.
Freaking out.
Buy me drinks.
Here, do you want to just take the cat? Here, have the cat.
Oh God. Ugh.
And I plop a mural on top of Clarissa's head.
Tyrion drops the cat on
Patting
top
his
of
face,
Clarissa's
at
head.
her face.
The cat is literally freaking the fuck out. As you do this, you hear an individual say, "Oi, why are you bringing a cat in here? What the hell's wrong with you?"
We found this cat in here. It was
Then
this
leave
cat
it
was here when we walked
outside!
in. We're trying to take it outside. Why are you yelling?
I'm not yelling. Just get it outside. I don't want it to disturb my drinking. Jesus! He slaps a barmaid on the ass. Isn't that right, lass? Don't want that cat to disturb us time. And continues on. Just kind of like it's fairly packed in this place, so. So, Clarissa, you currently hold a very squirmy cat at this point.
I'm gonna use message and say, "Stop moving, or I set you on fire."
There we go.
There's 2 people following us. I was trying to frickin' tell you earlier, you dumb. Oh
There are always people following us.
no,
This
there's
is
2
not
people in robes.
Yes, people in robes. Fine. Cat is
people in
very
robes.
disruptive in this bar. You know what? Go outside and think about what you've done. And Clarissa's gonna take the cat and hurl it out the door.
Cat goes
You're
flying
in
out the door.
Shit. Oh, you're gonna be in so much shit.
Just kind of skids across the ground.
This is like full-on sprint. I'm gonna freaking lash out at Clarissa's face. I'm gonna make an attack at Clarissa's
Clarissa's already back in the bar. By the time you recover and try to turn around, there's already people like walking back in the door. The door is completely shut. It continues to open and close. And as a cat, like trying to dart around those people, make a dexterity check.
Oh no, that ain't gonna happen. I don't even bother with the amount of people. I'm probably
As you continue to like try and dart in, you get like kicked about 4 or 5 times, and you just eventually kind of resign yourself and go find like a crate to kind of just take a nap on and just kind of sit and perch and just keep a lookout. Tyrion, and Clarissa and Salix, you guys are all in the Married Beaver. What would you like to do?
Okay,
Well-
so it's a very raucous atmosphere. Is it mostly Stormblades in there, or
Mostly Stormblades.
Okay.
There appears to be some obviously some tavern maids who are currently serving drinks and kind of just
duly
serving
noted?
drinks and
But
serving
I'm
food.
here on business.
Very beautiful time, but apart from that, mostly Stormblades.
Okay, mostly Stormblades. Gonna turn to Clarissa and Celix and be like, I say we find one of the more inebriated groups and see if we can't talk up some stories and get some information about them. Soldiers love to brag.
Yes, that seems like a good course of action. Give me just 1 sec. And Clarissa's gonna go and just like poke her head out the door or look out a window and see if she can see a mural.
Nope, because I just cast Meld into Stone.
You're a cat.
I walked around the side of the building, transformed into an elf, and I melded into the stone wall. Because I am not risking anything right now.
All right, you walk around the building. You turn back into an elf, and you meld into stone. You meld into stone. Okay,
Basically right into the corner,
nope.
so I can have
Clarissa,
like, the
you
bullet
don't
corner
see
there.
anything.
Clarissa's just gonna shrug and then say, "Annoying skittish druid."
and then go back to the rest of the group.
Fair. Okay. Cool. You guys make.
All right, Darren. I like your plan. Let's do it.
Okay. First things first. Let's get
Grab some drinks.
some drinks. We don't want to look out of place. I'm gonna go up to the barkeep and get 3 mugs of ale and hand them out, and leave a decent tip, and then I guess
two gold
investigation.
suffices.
Try and see a group that looks like they might be in a
Go for that investigation
state of
check.
mind
You
that's
got
gonna be
this.
pliable. 16 plus investigation. It's gonna be like 18 or something. That is correct. 18.
Hold on a second, I'm dealing with something. Okay, so you glance around. You see a very, very rowdy group of people. Of what appears to be seems to be a very rowdy group of what appears to be like humans, a few half elves, more on the human side. You maybe like a few dwarf here and there. But apart from that, they all seem to be pretty well drunk. Seem to be at least like the table in front of them seems to be like just full of like empty drinks and everything like that. Pretty much that's about it. But that seems like probably your best bet. And as you walk up closer to them, you hear them going, "Ha ha!" and just and trading stories and like, "Oh, did you hear the one about this current prisoner that we got over there? Well, let me tell you, that one's been a bit feisty. Had to probably." And he smacks his fist into the small of his hand, and says, "Had to show that one what was up and about. If you get my meaning." And the other one's like, "Aye, if I didn't get your meaning, the other ones, if I didn't get your meaning, then all of these sorry blokes wouldn't." It's like, and they're all like, "What the fuck you talking about?" All that fun jazz. So,
all right. Well, I'm just gonna walk up and just say "Hail" and "Well met" and raise my beer in the air.
and it's like, and they all look over at you and be like. Like as they like pretty much like it's a good solid group of like 10 to 15 of them. They all kind of look over you and be like, "And what does a sorry elf like you want?" One of them shouts.
A sorry elf. Well, I thought I would come over here and hear some of your stories. I have a few of my own. I'm new to this city and
Stories. We're here to drink.
drink.
Just got off a long day. Just got off a long day of work. We need to ample time to just to decompress and be able to make sure that we are fit for the next day.
Oh well, certainly, drink. Well, perhaps you would.
Yes, we will drink well as long as you're buying the next round.
I am buying the next round. Apparently.
Great, barkeep, and like one of them gestures over and says, "Oh, a round of that blood thistle." Shit that's on the top shelf. We'll go with one of those for the whole table. For the whole table, courtesy of this elven gentleman over here.
All right. Well, let's bring it on.
You nod in acknowledgement. The barkeep says, eyes kind of wide, and says, "Huh? All right then." And he reaches up, grabs down pulls down a bottle that is very familiar to you, Tyrion, and he pours.
Oh, that's not good.
It's not very familiar to you. Like like the make of it is very familiar to you because you have one currently sitting in your bag. But
right.
As he pours it, it's not a wine. From what I look of it, it looks like a very hard liquor. He passes it off to one of the maiders. The maiders brings it over to the table, and the table you see a full round of about 17 to 19 shots currently just sitting on this thing. They all pick up one, and there's 3 left over for you, Salix and Clarissa.
Oh, good. I thought you meant 3 for me. It was like, whoa, I'm an elf. I'm not. Like... I want to actually put some words together.
All of them pick up the shot and say, "Yeah!" And they just wait for you. They wait for you to
do the same.
You all pick up your shots. You throw them back, and they all say, "Oh, well met," and they all start clasping you on the back and invite you in. You enjoy merriment of
well met indeed.
merriment of wonderful conversation.
Sorry, it took me a
and
second to summon that up, but
It was beautiful. Merriment of conversation and joyousness. Eventually, the talk turns to them at work, and you eventually interject, saying,
tell me more about this feisty prisoner I overheard. That sounds interesting.
"Oh, this feisty prisoner, half-orc asshole, got nicked for got thrown in here for one too many times thieving about the marketplace. Been having to deal with him as of late, and it's an elven individual talking at this point. Or not an elven, he's a half-elven individual talking to this point. Doesn't understand respectable authority here. Gotta teach him a few lessons in order to make sure that he understands who's in charge." Some of the other ones are like, "I get you," and they all kind of nod an affirmation at that point, just like, "I get you."
So this, you all work at this prison.
Well, that's right, we do. All of us
That's right.
I'm
I'm sorry, that's some very good liquor. So
Just
you'll
got
have
off a
to
12.
excuse
Just
me.
got off a 12-hour shift. Where are you from?
Oh, I'm from here. I'm from there. I've spent my life on the road. I'm from no place
Here-
in particular.
Here and there. Ever come across a dragon by chance?
A dragon.
Dragons. Looking forward to a dragon fight. Or
A
looking forward to
dragon.
hearing about a good dragon fight. There's always some idiot who thinks that they have come across a dragon, and I love hearing about the fights that they have. Most of the time, it's just a bunch of hogwash, but it's wonderful to listen to.
Oh, good God. Clarissa gonna slap Tyrion's arm and say, I've slain many a is there anybody in this group of Stormblades who looks like younger?
Oh, Lord.
They all look relatively the same age. Half-elves are kind of harder to tell, but they all look relatively the same age. Kind of middle-aged, not middle-aged, but kind of more just like, there's a few younger, there's... TC.
Hi, Steve.
That was good.
Oh, wow. DM's really getting into character.
I've been drinking all night. There's a couple. They all look relatively the same age. With the half-elves, it's a little harder to tell. Dwarves, they just got a full beard. Can't even tell whether or not it's a really old one or not old one. Like just kind of just normal person. So.
Right,
All right,
right.
So Clarissa's going to say, I've come across something you could call it a dragon. Would you like to hear about the night I slew the beast of heaving scales? And she's going to try to be as seductive as possible.
Make a deception check.
Oh, goody. I am very good at this. All right, so...
21. As you're saying this, like Tyrion kind of lifts you up onto the actual table itself, clearing a path away of all of the empty glasses, and you see about 4 of them all just put their hands on the table and their heads in their hands and just kind of look at you in awe and just like, good God, yes, please tell us more. Is kind of look on their face and they're just like, yes, please. The rest of them seem completely enthralled, and they all kind of like, they don't pull up chairs, but they all seem to like kind of get a little closer, and it's just kind of like, no way. Like think like Finding Nemo, and like think like what all of the turtles do, and Dory, and they're like, this is really good. Like when they all cluster together, and when the guy's telling a story. That's kind of the atmosphere that is happening right now. They're all kind of clustering together and like, tell us more. So tell them more.
You see, it was a dark and stormy night. I was at a bar much like this one, and I had way too much to drink, if you know what I mean. And she's going to pick up a shot glass on the table and just chug it.
You reach down, whoop, chug it.
Once she starts
it
talking
is-
again,
it
I'm
is some
gonna
of the
slide another one in
nastiest-
front of her.
It is some of the nastiest liquor you've ever tasted. There's probably a reason it's still on the table.
We'll just choke it down and try to keep going, and then
Go for
say, well, I wandered out of the bar a little bit disheveled, and she's gonna like pull the side of her dress down to like show off some shoulder and like hike it
Okay.
up a little bit to show some gnome leg.
All right.
And lo and behold, in the street, I encountered a great big beast.
Keep going.
This beast, he roared at me like he wanted to swallow me whole. And I said, "Oi, I can take you." And I took my hands and I went for his.
You see them all in anxious, and you see them all in anxious anticipation. They're all sitting there, just on the edge of their seat, just going like wide eyes. Their eyes are like kind of like glassy, and just kind of like some of the mouths are just hanging agape. At this point, you see a dwarf take a draft of his beer,
And she's gonna say,
set it down, and just wait to hear.
but then I thought better of it. I realized that the only true way to slay a dragon so that you could get his booty is if he let him carry you back to his lair. So I swooned and I fainted and I fell. And this great beast took me up in his clawed hands, which were so big and strong. And then, lo and behold, before I knew it, I found myself in... Oh, wait, that wasn't a dragon. That was just a lad like one of you. And then she'll just wink and hop off the table.
And there's a moment of silence, only broken by the bands currently playing. Make a performance check.
Okay, I'm also good at this. Oh yeah,
There we go. 26. All right.
26.
So, as you hop off, there's a, well, I haven't heard a story like that in quite some time, and they all just raise their glasses and say, to the flamboyant gnome, may she always be as loose as she is wonderful with her words. And they all say, ha ha, and take a wonderful drink. And you see one or two kind of slowly take a drink. Then you see about 4 or 5 that just all kind of start gathering around you, just trying to talk to you and just trying to enjoy, enjoying your company and wanting to hear more stories about your gnomish adventures and escapades that they enjoy hearing about. So.
Clarissa will use message to Tyrion and say, I will entertain 1 or even 2, and then wink at him, of these gentlemen and see what I can find out tonight. I think I have them eating out of the palm of my hand, if you get my drift, and then she'll wink again. And then say to the group of people, say, hey, perhaps one of you could be my dragon tonight, eh?
Isn't it like 3 o'clock in the afternoon?
It's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Afternoon?
And they are
afternoon, whatever.
They are day drunk at this point.
Yeah, then we're probably well on our way.
Yeah, you're getting on your way at this point. So while Clarissa's entertaining them, you would say see about a good solid probably 5 or 6 who are still hanging out on the table, just kind of enjoying their beers and conversations and talking at this point.
Okay.
Do I perceive any sound outside?
You're outside. We're not to you yet. Chill the fuck out.
Aren't you a wall?
Sorry, I've been drinking. I'm a little sassy, and I apologize. Anyway, so continuing on inside. So Tyrion and Salix, you guys see a few still who have not been super enticed by Clarissa's gnomish wiles, just hanging out at the same table, still chatting and talking, and one thing does kind of catch your ear, and it's along the lines of it's like those along those lines. Well, did you hear the individuals down in the dark cells? They've been very quiet as of late. They haven't been as rambunctious as usual.
Well, this is the group that I'm currently.
That you're currently with
that
right now.
Salix and I are kind of just.
You're kind of just
chilling
listening. You're kind of just listening.
I'm just gonna perk up as soon as he says, "Dark cells." Dark cells. That sounds ominous.
Aye, the dark cells. They're farther down below. They're not kept within the actual part of the prison itself. That they say. You'll be there soon enough. And like with your fully armored portion, you get the kind of hint that they are thinking you're on your way to becoming part of the Stormcloaks. It's like you'll be there soon enough. The dark cells. They're the place of the Blackstone Spire that we keep those individuals who can use magic and such. Make sure that they can't get out. We have very specific measures in order to make sure. Like, yeah, you should have told it. We should have gone over all of this in training. You know this. They're the places that we keep all of those individuals who can actually use magic and get out that way. We make sure that those individuals are kept locked away without any hope of escape at this point. Anyways, there's one down there, half-elven individual. Hasn't said a word since he got in.
How long has he been down there?
And thinks for a second. About 2 weeks at this point. 2 to 3 weeks at this point. Brought him in, and he was able to from what our sensors could tell, he was able to use magic. So down into the dark cells he went.
Out of character from our timeline and our discussions, does that line up with how long Saljan has been in prison?
Lines up exactly with how long he's been.
Okay.
Anyways, that individual hasn't said a single word. Just sits in the same spot day after day. Waiting for his food. We bring him his food, he doesn't touch it. By the time we come back, he's the plate's cleared, but he's sitting in the same spot. Bloke gives me the creeps.
That certainly does sound off-putting.
No shit.
Well, I take it that you're confident in those cells being secure.
2 centuries those cells have been in place. In 2 centuries there's only been one escapee who's made it out. And how he made it out, we're not even sure he actually did. From what the stories are told, they found his body at the bottom of the cistern at that point. Unlucky bloke. Takes another drink of his ale.
Only one escapee. Surely there have been more. I mean,
or at least attempts.
What place could be so secure? I mean, I've heard rumors, but I figured that was just intimidating talk meant to
attempts
keep the citizenry on their toes.
Attempts, they happen. They happen daily. We find tunnels. We find little places where they've tried to burrow and get out of the place. But even if they get out of the actual rock, they've got the sea to deal with. Blackstone, or the Blackstone's Nightstone Spire is in the middle of the bay itself. The nearest place to swim to is at least a good solid mile away from the actual place itself. And in between there's other defenses that keep the individuals in. Nightstone Spire. I gotta check something. Nightstone Spire itself was imbued by some of the most wonderful magicians and wonderful spellcasters of their time to make sure that no one could get out of it. Assuming anyone could get out of it, there's only been that one individual, and he seemed to just disappear into the ether.
Spellcasters. I didn't realize you had spellcasters in your order.
No, not us have spellcasters. We actually hired one of the previous Blackstaffs in order to make sure that the stone itself was impregnable to individuals from the outside. Didn't want to make sure, and from the inside, we didn't want to make sure that individuals could just escape willy-nilly. This is a prison. This is a place for those hardened criminals. Make sure that they can't get out. God,
and
you're not
trust this Blackstaff, this magician.
Well, we've had the most recent Blackstaff look over the enchantments, and she said that it was okay. She's always been a friend of the Silver Hand, and she answers directly to them. To the Silver Hand. So we may as well. So if the Silver Hand says it's all right, it's all right.
How long is that half-elf going to have to be down there? Surely you are not going to have to guard him forever.
From what I've heard, he's only got a few more days left, 3 at most, before he has to be down. From what I'm hearing, the Master Lords are not going to look favorably upon his case. They're going to see that he is guilty, and they're going to sentence him to death. At which point, God rest his soul, the Providence Pillars will be awaiting his dancing feet.
Providence Pillars?
The Providence Pillars catch your ear. And says, "Aye, the Providence Pillars. They're over in the main square, right in front of the Celestial Citadel."
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Wait. So how do those work?
And he kind of looks at you and says, "Are you not familiar with the concept of hanging? They sling a rope up on top of the pillar, they then tie a noose around it, they put it around your neck, and they dance like there's no tomorrow as the life leaves their body."
Oh.
It's not that hard of a concept.
Okay, they're going to hang him from the pillars. Makes so much sense now.
All right.
I bet it does. Anyways, it's getting quite late in the day. It's only 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Anyways, I need to find a bathroom. I need to find a washroom. And he walks off, and one of them walks off and says, "That individual never stops his blabbering." Anyways, look forward to seeing you at work. And the other individual leaves. Bunch of the other ones kind of disperse. You guys are kind of left alone at the table itself at this point.
Is it just me and Tyrion?
Just you and Tyrion. Clarissa,
Yeah,
you are
Clarissa's
kind
off
of
getting her flirt on.
Clarissa's has just been enticing all of these individuals. Clarissa, I need you to make another performance check, please.
I can do that.
I figured you'd be saving the performance checks for after the foreplay, but
26.
Nope, still good. 26.
You have your pick of well-armored individuals at this point. Choose how many you want.
All right,
and then
here we go. I'm gonna take
my.
I'm gonna take the 2 handsomest looking ones.
You find the 2 handsomest looking ones, and you, from what you can tell, it's probably a half-elven individual, and a surprisingly a dwarven individual as well. But you manage to find those 2. You take them. Those are the 2 that you find that you think are probably the most handsomest, that catch your eye and catch your fancy.
And I'm gonna say, well, boys, I have a room back at the Brass Tiger, or if you have accommodations closer and therefore quicker to get to.
One of them says, "Well," he kind of looks at the other and says, I've got a room upstairs. The other one says, aye. And they... It's like, I've got one as well. Yes.
Perfect. Well, you two can argue over which one of you gets the privilege of hosting me, shall we?
They both kind of just look at each other. They both kind of nod. And the half-elven individual takes you up the stairs. And I need you to roll another performance check.
Oh, not above a 20 this time.
All right. You rock the half-elven individual's world by within about half an hour. You like both you and him are fully exhausted, and god damn, you had a good time. Tyrion and Salix, you two are at the table while the rest of that's happening on. And the rest of the crowd is kind of dispersed. It's still lively, but it's kind of dying down at this point.
Is it focused on us right now? Are we talking?
Yes. Back to you.
And so in a very quiet voice, then we're not overheard. The Dark Cells, huh? We are not gonna get down there.
No, certainly not any way that we would want to entertain doing.
However, this does present an opportunity. We now know the location of Skills' potential execution. Perhaps we could intervene on his as they move him from the Spire to Providence Square.
I mean, that's certainly an option. We would need more information, and we have no guarantee that they would even let him get to a hanging. It seems they want him dead quite badly.
Yep.
And I do not get the sense that, good judicial practices are the norm in this city.
We're running out of options.
It seems we are running into the same wall. Well, Clarissa seems to have wandered off somewhere. I am going to go grab another mug of ale and bring one back for Salix. We should wait here for her.
All right, Amiral. From what you can see, the two gray cloaked individuals seem to be a pretty far distance off, but seem to have stopped and kind of just kind of waiting at this point.
There's no sight. It's just sound. So anything that I could hear.
You hear general talk. You hear general talk about the butcher's most recent kill. You hear how one of the butcher's kills has been completely burned and inflamed. You hear how one, from what you can tell, one had just been what looked like pierced by 1,000,000 needles. Another one had a ton of holes in them. That looked like he had been strung up by hooks and then let go immediately. That's pretty much what you hear. You hear some other information about how there's an anticipated hanging in the near future, and who they're taking. And some individuals have said, "Well, I'm taking Mathilda." Others are taking just other talk like that. That's pretty much all you hear.
Okay. I'm gonna wait till I can hear Salix, Clarissa, and Tyrion walk out because they're pretty noticeable steps.
All right, they're still inside at this point.
Okay.
All right. So, Tyrion, Clarissa, and Salix, anything you wish to do left in the Beavers or the Married Beaver, apart from Clarissa finishing up whatever the fuck she's doing?
I just want to see if I can get any information about the Citadel or the prison from just casual pillow talk, but she's mostly forgotten about that. So
make Make a sleight of hand check? No, that doesn't work. Make a general deception check.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of deception.
Make a deception. I'll go with deception on this. Make a deception check.
16.
All right. What information are you trying to glean?
Like possible weak points and guard shifts, and oh, if someone were to break out, where would they do it? Oh, stuff like that.
Breaking out. As you're talking about the breaking out, he kind of says, "Breaking out is kind of impossible from Nightstone Spire, unfortunately, or luckily for all of us. However, and he reveals some information about the guard shifts and change, and you're able to take note of it, of how around noon there's a shift change, and around 2 a.m. there's a shift change as well. Which surprisingly is relatively when the night within this area is actually getting pretty dark, and probably at its darkest at that point.
Good to know.
Okay. All right. Eventually, to Salix and Tyrion, Clarissa rejoins you, looking very happy and very exuberant over this point. You do notice that another half-elven individual kind of slowly is making his way down the stairs, slightly bow-legged at this point in time.
Hey, Clarissa. Done so soon.
What?
Yeah, welcome back. I take it you had some fun.
It's a good solid hour
Yeah,
later, by the way.
it was pretty good. You guys look bored. How long have you been here?
How long were you up there?
I don't know. Time stood still for a little while. Perfectly normal.
Well, we were here while time stood still. That's why they have ale.
Did we ever find a Meryl?
No. No, we did not.
She's probably
Well.
around outside somewhere.
She's a cat. I'm sure she's all right.
It's probably not important. We should head back. I managed to glean some useful information.
Okay. You eventually all, Salix and Tyrion, you make your way out of you make your way out. Salix, Tyrion, and Clarissa, you make your way out. Muriel, you hear them making their way out.
I step out of the wall, keeping, as soon as I step out, I'm, looking around.
Okay.
That would be a 15 for perception, for visual perception.
Okay, well, as soon as I see someone stepping out of a wall, my hand's going to go for my sword hilt until I recognize that it's disguised disheveled Emerald.
I'm around the corner, though.
Oh, are you?
You still notice a mural walk out from behind the corner, and your hand instinctively goes to your blade, but you relax as soon as you realize it's the odd-looking mural.
With the hood up.
Yep.
Do I still notice those guys?
They're still standing there.
I walk up to Tyrion, really close to his ear, and go, "There's two guys over there. They've been following us since the inn." And I go over to Salix and I do the same thing. And
What are they wearing?
robes.
Gray cloaks. Gray robes.
Those are we had this conversation already. Those are the gray cloaks from the Black Spire. Remember, Karma was concerned about them too. Clarissa says we don't need to worry about it.
Well, it just seems odd.
Yeah,
the
I'm not
last
sure.
time somebody was following, it didn't turn out well.
Well, it may be odd, but if they are with the Grey Cloaks, they certainly know where we're staying already. They followed us from there, so there's no harm in going back the way we came.
You need a lessening and loosening up. I would be happy to teach you.
And at that point, I grab Clarissa by the scruff of her dress and I drag her back to the, like, as far as I can, if I can. Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna resist that.
Constricted.
Nope, you already said it. Right. Make a strength check.
Actually, can I react with a shield like I would?
Yeah,
against an
yes,
attack
you
row?
can. Yes, you can.
I'm gonna do that.
17 plus.
This is
So
a grapple
I'll-
check, so it's still a strength check.
17.
Okay. So as Clarissa, what's your AC with the shield?
With shield, it would be 15.
So, as you cast shield on yourself, you feel your magical energy. Doesn't even stop Muriel's hand. Koom! She grabs onto the scruff of your dress and just starts walking back in the direction of the brass tiger. You slowly dragging behind you, or dragging behind her with a relatively confused look on your face at this point. As all of you make your way back to the brass tiger. Back to the brass tiger. You eventually come upon a road that has a bunch of about 12 to 16 storm blades currently standing across it. As you approach, they say, "Hold up there! You're gonna have to turn it another way around. This crime scene is under investigation by order of the Master Lords of Plona themselves."
What's going on here?
"Are you new here to town?" One of them steps forward and asks.
Been here a day or so now.
I take it you've heard about the Butcher of Plona, then?
You're saying he struck again?
No. Well, yes, he struck again, but we're currently investigating one of his handiworks from last night.
Last night? I thought the butcher was in prison.
Obviously not.
Obviously not.
This body is fresh, less than a day old. We currently have our best individuals investigating it. Be on your way.
I kind of want to. I want to mention to the group. This is. Do we want to check this out? How are we going to do this?
Well, I mean, we certainly.
Well, you can just say our tavern's on the other side, and we have no other way of knowing how to get through.
Right.
What are you doing, guys?
Okay, there's.
What we want to get in there, but we don't know how to do it.
What are you doing? If you're what are you doing?
I guess we'll keep walking. I mean, I don't know what to do without thinking about it.
Alright. Well,
Does anyone have an idea?
detours that way. And what the guard gestures kind of on in like another way. You can go down this street. You can go down this street, and you'll just keep walking back to wherever your destination is. We've got this section blocked off at this point.
Do we?
There's
Can we mention? God, we don't have any contacts or any way to like even fake authority.
You got nothing.
We do pretty much have nothing, and I don't fancy a brawl with the city guard
Yeah.
when we're outnumbered 5-1.
Well, maybe we could get in.
Why would you be looking for a brawl with us?
We're
We're
not-
just doing our job and trying to keep you out from the crime scene.
we have no other means of knowing which way to get to our location. This is the only route that we've known.
Then take the detour. He gestures off in the direction that he already just pointed.
All right, I say we at least start walking away from them down that.
You start taking the detour. You make your way kind of back to that detour. You eventually find your way back to the Brass Dragon.
Is there
that we will
any
end for this evening?
Is there any way to cross the river at all
Swim.
besides
mean?
swimming?
What do you mean river?
Like,
You cross
is there,
like multiple bridges
is-
as you're progressing forward.
because there's the bridge that we would go across to get to that area. Is there like a walk down into like the water side that we can just like water walk across further down?
I mean, you eventually make. The area that like was sectioned off was more of kind of like just a normal road area. It wasn't like a bridge. Like you were able to easily go across bridges. But yeah, there's walkways down on the waterway. But
I
the area-
point that out to Salix and them when we're walking back to the end.
Maybe we should go. We should go get Riven and Karma. Maybe come back.
You eventually find your way back to the Brass Tiger, and it is there you eventually meet back up with Riven and Karma, and it is there that we will end this evening. It is there that we will end this evening, and we will come back next week.
Sounds good, guys.
Out some bullshit reason that they should let us into a crime scene.
Private investigators.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I gotta head to bed.
All right, have a
Talk
good
to
night,
y'all
guys.
later.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye, guys.
I was trying to wrap it
Take it
up
easy.
quickly. I'm sorry, guys. That went a little longer than normal. Good shit tonight. Everyone earned a solid 500 experience points for the shit that they had to go through tonight. So good job there. Apart from that, solid RP session.